Hi all. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
But yes,
Is the screen visible?
Yes, visible.
Now there are 10 participants joined. So are there more participants? Yeah, more are joined. Uh, we can start now. Deepa, go on mute. Okay, so before starting, let me ask you one thing, like any non-Malayalis in this group? Hello?
Hello, ma'am.
Hello? Any non-Malayalis in this group? Okay, I'll start with the today's topic. I'll just continue in English. You can ask me doubts in Malayalam also, and we can combine both languages and discuss if you want. So don't hesitate to ask doubts in Malayalam also. You can do so as it is recorded and all. I'll go with English. So if you are not able to understand anything, just let me know. So
I was in yesterday, so I just want to know what topic you have covered yesterday.
yesterday's topic, let me
Fun-
just
Is it
actually,
testing fundamentals?
Yes.
yes, I think so.
Okay, no worries.
Actually, yesterday a different person had taken class. So
Okay, no problem, no worries.
I
Thank
think
you.
we will send you the modules and the details also.
Okay,
The notes
fine.
also. Okay. So
Okay, thank
today we'll start with the topic that is module 3, that is the static testing. So how many of you are from the testing background? And
Actually, I am a senior analyst for UAT testing.
okay. So anyone else, any experienced people, more than 2 years of experience are there? All are able to hear me, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So below 1 year of experience or 1 year experience people in this group, or without experience, anyone is there?
I don't have any experience in software testing field. I'm from server administrative background. I'm having.
Okay. That is Emily, right?
Sorry.
Ma'am.
No,
No,
Maria.
ma'am. Okay.
Maria, okay.
My name is Emily. I have only 1 year experience, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hope others all are experienced hands. Just
No, I don't have experience in software testing.
Aishwarya, okay.
Ma'am, I am also a fresher. I don't have any experience.
Okay.
Ma'am, I don't have experience in QA.
Okay, Vidya. Okay, Vidya. Okay, just we will go through the topics. If you have doubts, let me know. Okay. So first topic is static testing. Any experience has, can you just brief like what is static testing? What do you know about static testing?
In static testing, we do not do the execution of test cases. Here, the documents, we review the documents through reviews, inspection, and walkthrough. Hello.
Uh, Hello, who was that? I did. Yes, Mary. Yes, that is correct only. That is static testing is actually something we don't execute a product. We just go through the documents and then review them and find out the defects in them. So that is, yes, exactly. You were telling that is correct. Before coming to the static testing topic, we will be hearing a word called work product throughout these modules. So I would like to explain what is work product. So anyone can say what is a work product? What is a work product? Any guess?
Product that is developed.
Yes, that is, yes, somewhat correct. Like, it is that products that we get, that is, it is an output from all these outputs or the deliverables from the software development process. Okay. So, for example, we can say a software development from the software development process, we know it starts from the requirement analysis phase. So the requirement specifications, the business documents, the user stories, acceptance criteria, and the code and the flowcharts, etc. These all comes under the work product. Okay, so these are actually the outputs or deliverables that is produced during the development process. So that is a work product. Now we will move on to the what is static testing and all. So, okay, now the static testing is, as Maria's already mentioned, like it is just a review of these work products. Okay, we will be reviewing these work products, like we'll be reviewing the business requirement documents or the business specification documents or the code, etc. And we'll be finding out the defects in that. We won't be executing these things. Okay. Like we won't be executing it, the code and all, we won't be executing this. We'll be reading through the code to check the defects. Okay, we'll be coming through what are the defects and all. So basically this static testing is divided into two parts, that is reviews and static analysis. Okay, the main objective of the static testing is to improve the quality. So improving the quality, how it is improving the quality? That is, we are detecting the defects at a very earlier stage, like from the requirement preparation, that is from that phase itself, we will be documenting the requirements, right? From that phase itself, we are doing the static testing. So there is another type of testing called dynamic testing that is done at a very later phase, that is on executing these things. So once the requirements are done and the development is done, all the coding is done, we will be executing that. So at that point of time, what we prepare is called, what we do is called a dynamic testing. So before that itself, we will be doing the static testing. So what happens here, that is earlier itself, we will be able to identify the flaws. For example, a simple example I can give you, like you are going through a particular requirement document. So if you are, for example, you're working in a banking domain. So some module you find that it is missing. So, and you find that that is very important. So as a user perspective, that module is important, but if there was a miss of that module from the person who has written this, from the business owner or the business analyst. So what you can say, we can communicate between each other and fix that defect in the requirement. So if the requirement itself, in the requirement document itself, if that module is included, then what happens at the later stage, what happens, it will be coded and it will be executed and it will meet the client expectations. But if that module was not included and after coding, everything getting finalized, after it goes to the client immediately replies back, or the user give the feedback like, oh, this portion is missing, so you have to you have to include that also. So what it will take more time, right? We have to repeat all these steps from the first itself. Again, we have to go back to the requirements. We have to, they'll be logging a bug. We have to analyze the code. Then we'll be finding, then on digging into the code with the root cause we have to analyze. So on analyzing the root cause, we get to know that, yeah, this was a miss in the requirements itself. So we have to go back all the way through. So what happens? This will be leading to a lot of time and expense. Okay, so that is why we do the static testing. That is why the static testing is more important. So from an earlier phase itself, we can detect these issues and thereby we can improve the quality of the product. That is by detecting the defects and accessing the characteristics like readability, completeness, correctness, testability, and consistency. So we can go through the code. That is, we can check whether the requirement documents are complete. So if there is any miss, there is any inconsistencies. So these all we can find out at the earlier stage and we can log the defects. So like that way, we do the static testing. Now, static testing is divided into two parts, reviews and static analysis. Review means it is just a manual examination of the work product. I told you, right, this work product term you'll be hearing a lot of times. So work product is nothing but it is a output or the deliverable produced during these development process. That can be a code or requirements documents or a user story or etc. Okay. So this manually going through that work product is a review. And static analysis means we will be using some tools. That is, a tool-driven evaluation of code or other work products is what is done in static analysis. So in the review, we are manually examining, and in the static analysis, with the help of a tool, we will be examining the work product. For example, we can use Grammarly. You are all familiar with Grammarly tool, right? So in using this Grammarly tool, we can do the spell check for all the entire document. Then for in the case of code, for checking the code quality, indentation, these all we will be using the tools like Sonar, Cubes, etc. for checking the code quality, etc. So that is a part of static analysis. Wherever we use tool, that comes to be a static analysis, and wherever we do manual examination, that is a review. It is clear, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now, in Agile, it is used for continuous delivery and continuous deployment. So, Agile is actually for those who are not familiar with testing. So, Agile is actually a testing methodology. Okay, it is a type of testing methodology. So here we for continuous delivery and continuous deployment, we use this Agile methodology. So this you'll be hearing the term, and this will be more explained in the coming modules. So by that time you'll be getting it is somewhat a vast topic. So it will be explained in the other modules. So then it will be clear to you. So in the Agile continuous delivery and continuous deployment pipeline also, we make use of this static techniques, static analysis techniques. So in the pipeline, we can include the Sonar Cube, these static tools also to check the quality of the code, etc. Okay. Next is the work products that can be examined by the static testing. So till now it is clear, right? Whatever I have mentioned. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Now the work products. So I have told you, right, there are different work products. So the work products that are examined by the static testing is the next topic. So the main work products are the specifications, including the business requirements, the functional requirements, the security requirements. These are all the work products we can examine using the static testing. Then ethics, user stories, and acceptance criteria. So earlier I had mentioned, right, there is some testing methodologies. So how to carry out this testing? So there are different methodologies. So here we have two concepts like waterfall and agile methodology. So in waterfall method, we mostly tell the terms like business requirements, specifications, functional requirements, security requirements. These all requirement terms come mostly in the waterfall model. And the epics, user stories, and acceptance criteria, these all comes under the agile method of testing. So in which epics means, for example, I can say epics gives a bigger picture of something. Okay, it helps in understanding the bigger picture. And user stories, what they do is like they break down that picture into smaller and actionable items. And the acceptance criteria means it defines the specific requirements that must be met for each user story. For example, we can go by an example here. So as we can state a user story, as user story looks like somewhat like this. Like as a registered user, I want to be able to reset my password so that I can regain access to my account if I forget it. So that is the user story, imagine. So I have to reset my password. So that is the epic. Resetting password will be the epic. So my user story is, as a registered user, I want to able to reset my password so that I can regain the access to my account if I forget it. So that comes to be a user story. Now, how we can write an acceptance criteria for this? Yes. Hello. Hello, Deepa. Any doubts?
No, actually.
Okay. Can you just go on mute, Deepa? Okay. Okay, coming to what is an acceptance criteria for this user story, how we can write that. This acceptance criteria we mainly write with three keywords like given, when, then. So given, so for example, one of the acceptance criteria can be like this. Given that a user is on a password reset page, then the user submits a valid email address, then a password reset link would be sent to that email address. Okay, this can be a simple acceptance criteria for the user story we had discussed. So these all don't get confused. It will be discussed in the later module. So in order to understand this one line, I just gave this example, okay, so that you'll be more familiar. So the different work products that can be examined by static testing can be the specification documents, then the epics, user stories, and acceptance criteria, then the architecture and design specifications, then the code. Then the continuing that is other work products that can be examined by the static testing is the test pair. Test pair includes the test plan. So what is a test plan? Anyone can say? What is a test plan?
It includes scope, approach, strategy that we use in the project. Then
Yes, Maria, that is correct. Yes, it includes the purpose. It includes many things, right? So it includes the purpose of testing, the different testing objectives, the test strategy, test schedules, test deliverables, many things it includes. So these are includes. So this test plan also we can examine using this static testing and the test cases, the test procedures, and the automated test scripts. So in the automation, when we automate these manual, somebody is in Deepa, can you just go on mute? Hello?
See, I have muted it. The problem is my PC is actually working. It has no speakers, so it is showing unmute, though it won't get any sound from here.
Okay. 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 Now it is okay, right? No one is hearing that echo, right?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. Now, like automated test scripts means the manual test cases we automate it using some tools, so that test scripts also we can manually review it. So these are the different work products examined by static testing. And then user guides. User guides, you know what are user guides. For example, if you purchase a TV or washing machine, anything, you get a user manual, right? So for similarly, if you are working in the software terms, if you're working in a banking domain, there will be a user guide for this, right? But these banking applications, very often they get updated. So they may add new features, they may delete some features, so some modules they may add. So these user guides are all has also need to be updated based on this version changes of the product. So that also we can examine using the static testing. Next, web pages. Web pages means different web pages. We can see like whether the different boxes are available, whether the checkbox are available, whether the fields are correctly available, text fields are available. So these all we can examine the web pages. Okay, so without executing them. Then the contracts, different project plans, schedules, and budgets. Then the models such as activity diagrams, the flow charts, etc. That can also be examined by the static testing. Now, the work products examined by static testing. Now what is a review? So review any product that can be read and understood, like the documents and all we can read and understand. So such type of documents we perform this review. And static analysis. Static analysis means work product needs a structure against which they can be checked, like the code. So code has a particular structure, right? So this code we can check using the structure of the code. There are different naming conventions for coding. So these are all we can check using a static analysis. That is, we can make use of a tool to check all these things. So that is static analysis. Okay. Now, is it clear till now what is static analysis and what is review?
Yes, ma'am.
Difference between that, why we go for static testing and all is clear, right?
Yes.
Okay. Anyone have doubts? You can ask in Malayalam also. No issues. We can handle that. Okay. Now, value of static testing. Now, review is a way of static testing done before dynamic testing that I have already mentioned, right? That is before the dynamic testing. That is after completion of the code and after that is executing the code. Okay. Before executing the code, we do the static testing. Static testing will be done from the very initial phase itself. Okay. So what happens, as I've already mentioned, cost of fixing defects decreases as it is found early. So I have told, right? So once we find out that defect, that is actually this become when a code is executed and something fails during that time, it becomes a failure. So at that time it becomes a failure. So what happens? We have to analyze it. So why this defect was caused? Why this failure was caused? So when you analyze it, when you analyze the root cause for that, what is there, at last you'll be getting like it was a miss in the requirement space itself. So you have to do all the steps repeatedly. Again, you have to go back, correct the requirements, and you have to again prepare the test cases for this. Again, you have to code it. You have to analyze the code, and you have to recode them, and then you have to again prepare the test cases for that. Again, you have to do the testing. So it will be a double work, right? So it increases the time and it increases the cost of fixing also. But the value of static testing, once you have found out, yes, this miss was found out in the earlier phase of the requirement analysis itself, then these entire the repetition could be avoided, right? So the cost of missing defects decreases as it is found early, and prevent defects in code, then increase development productivity. So so when we are preventing the defects in the code, this will increase the development productivity also. Then reduces the testing time and cost, increase the software quality, and better communication between teams during reviews. So when you do the review, for example, you have a business owner might have written some other requirement document. So you are reviewing that, you are a reviewer for this document. So when you review it, yes, you will be you see a miss somewhere, or there is no some completeness issue in the document. So immediately you can communicate with the business owner and check it and correct it. So better communication will be there between all the team members during the reviews also. Now, the difference between the static and dynamic testing. So static testing, the find defects in the product directly, work product directly. But dynamic testing, what happens? You identify the failure caused by defects when the software is run. So when the software is run only, we will be identifying the failure. That failure, so once whatever you find during a dynamic testing is a failure, and whatever you find during the static testing is a defect. Okay, so due to this defect, due to the defect in the static testing, there is a failure in the dynamic testing when the software is run. Okay, so that is the difference between the static and dynamic. Okay, static testing finds defects that reside for a long time without causing a failure or hard to reach using dynamic testing. For example, I will tell you a scenario. For example, we can consider a code snippet, okay? Like for a small example, so if in an if statement, if you are writing, if the value is greater than 10, then you are printing like the value is greater than 10. Else you are returning that value itself. Then after closing that else statement, you are writing a print statement like value is less than 10. So what happens here? Even if the value is greater than 10 or less than 10, this statement value is less than 10 will be always executed. So these type of things, that is these type of unreachable codes, these can't be found out during the dynamic testing. These can be found out during the static testing. Okay. Then sometimes there you may declare many variables, but these variables, all the variables may not be used in the code. So this undeclared, then this that type of variables we can identify during the static testing. Some complex codes, these can be identified during the static testing. So such type of things can be identified during the static testing only. We can't do during the dynamic testing. Now, static testing focuses on the internal quality of the work product. That is, all the non-executable work products. Okay. Dynamic focuses on the external visibility or the executable work products. Okay. You are executing in the case of dynamic. Static means we will be focusing on the internal quality of the work product. Okay. It is non-executable. Now, static maintainability. Maintainability means once the requirements may change time to time. So we have to make sure that these change in requirements are also tested. That is, these also we go through the review these change in the requirements also, so that it is maintainable. So that is the maintainability. Now, dynamic performance efficiency. Performance efficiency means you are executing the code, right? So the things like the performance of the code, the time for execution, these all things comes in the dynamic testing. Okay, got it? Is it clear till now? What is the difference between static and dynamic testing?
Yes, ma'am.
It's clear, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So can I move on to the next portion? The newcomers are also able to understand, right? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, static. Okay. Now the defects easier to fix in static testing. Okay. So there are, I told you, right, there are different types of defects. So all these work products, we have discussed many work products, right? Like the requirements, the designs, the code, and the different standards. So these all we have discussed, right? So these all work products, all work products can be converted to defects. That is all the defects in the work products that can be easily fixed in the static testing. So the different defects that can be fixed in static testing are the defects in the requirements, that is requirement defects, that is the inconsistency and ambiguity or contradictions in the or omissions in the requirements that you can fix in the static testing. Then design defect. Defect means so insufficient DB structures, poor modularization. So these are all design defects. Then the coding defects. So coding defects I have already mentioned, that is undeclared variables or unreachable codes that we have mentioned earlier. Then excessive code complexity, variables with undefined values. So these all we can identify using the static testing. Then duplicate codes. These are all we can identify using the static testing. Now, deviation from standards. So there might be different coding standards, right? Some naming conventions, etc. So lack of adherence to these naming conventions in coding standards. So that is all are the deviations from standards. Then gaps in test basis. So test basis, what is a test basis? Anyone say what is a test basis? Can any experience people, anyone? What is a test basis?
The requirement documents that we refer, like requirement document.
Yes, correct. Correct, Maria. Yes, that is the documents that we refer so that we can write the test cases and all. So there can be some gaps in these documents also. Okay, like that, for example, like the incompleteness in the test basis. Okay, so that can also be easily fixed in the static testing. Next, the maintainability defects. Maintainability defects we already mentioned, like the repetitive changes that may not be recorded correctly. So that can also be fixed in the static testing. Then, now we will move on to the question and answer section. I'll just read out the question. You can just say the answers or give in the chat also. So, which of the following is not a benefit of static testing? Having less expensive defect management due to ease of detecting defects later in SDLC. Fixing defects found during static testing is generally much expensive than fixing defects found during dynamic testing. Finding coding defects that might not have been found by only performing dynamic testing. detecting defects and inconsistencies in requirements. So they are asking for not a benefit of static testing.
Option A.
Yes, option A is the correct answer. Yes, everyone has agreed to that. Option A is the correct answer. So, having less expensive defect management due to ease of detecting defects later in the SDLC. So, this is not a benefit of the static testing, right? That is less expensive defect management due to ease of detecting later in the SDLC, they are saying. It is not done later, right? It is done very earlier itself. Okay, so that is not a benefit of static testing. So in the questions, read the question 1 or 2 times so that you get it correct. They may say like it is not a defect, may not be sometimes direct. Okay, so read it many times so that you get the correct answers. Now, next question. Specifications, epics, user story, acceptance criteria, and code can be examined by static testing, dynamic testing, all of the above are correct, none of the above are correct. Yes, static testing. Yes, everyone has agreed to that. Static testing is the correct answer. Now, reviews and static analysis are examples of dynamic testing. True or false?
False.
False, yes. Correct. Now, typical defects that are easier and cheaper to find and fix through static testing includes requirement defect, design defect, coding defect, deviation from standard, all of the above. Yes, option E, Anu, Deepa, yes, Maria, yes, Karthik, yes. Option E is the correct answer. Now, next question. Which of the following are benefits of static testing? Detecting and correcting defects more efficiently, identifying defects which are not easily found by dynamic testing, reducing development and testing costs, D, all of the above. Yes, D, all of the above is the correct answer. Anyone has any doubts, please let me know. The questions are correct. A question and answer session is okay for everyone, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, freshers also no problem, right? Vidya, is it clear, everyone? Okay, then we will move on to the next session. That is okay. Okay. Thank you for confirming. Now, benefits of early and are you able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Benefits of early and frequent stakeholder feedback. So that is the next thing. So what are the benefits of that? So early communication. I'll take my share has some issue. 1 minute. Okay, early communication. Then, so what are the benefits of this early communication? So, we are detecting the defects very earlier in the static testing, right? So, early communication and stakeholder feedback help to understand if requirements are met. So, it is not at a very later point where we have all coded and executed and then doing the testing and finding the failures. It is at a very earlier stage itself. At the requirement stage itself, we can get the feedback from the stakeholders and we can see whether these requirements are correctly understood and these are met at the later stage. And reduction in cost, then deliver value to the stakeholder instead of blame game. So it delivers value. So earlier itself, we are detecting defects in the requirements or coding or the designing phase itself. It will be an add-on to the it will be a value add-on for the stakeholders instead of the last minute blame game. So when last minute something has gone wrong means we have to again revisit all these stages. So and it leads to the blame games. So to avoid that, early feedback is very important. Okay. Okay, now next is a review process. Review process, there are two types of review process, formal and informal. So in the informal review process, we do not follow any defined process or any particular documentation or outputs or result we keep. So that is, it is an informal way. Like if one developer is there, he can check with the other peer developer or anyone like that way, and then there is no defined process for that. But formal is, it is characterized by team and documented procedure is there and documented results are also there. Now, steps in the review process. So you got it right. There are two review processes, formal and informal. So the steps, different steps in the review process. Now what we are going to learn is how we are reviewing it. Okay. Now we had mentioned like there are techniques like review and all. So how we are going to review it? Then what is the steps for that reviewing, that process? So first one is planning, then initiating the review, initiate review, then individual review, then communication and analysis, then fixing and reporting. Okay. Next is review process. First one, planning. So it starts with the planning. So first we will be defining the scope of the review. Then we will be estimating the effort. So what will be the effort for this review? And we will be identifying the review characteristics, like the activities that needs to be performed, the review times, different review times that we need to adopt for the review, that all. Then we have to select the people who needs to be participating in this review and define the entry and exit criteria. So what are these entry and exit criteria? Can anyone say? What are the entry and exit criteria? Hello?
Entry criteria are those that need to be met uh, in order to start the this execution
Oh,
project.
yes.
And
Yes.
exit criteria are the criteria that need to be met. Then only we could. Then only we can stop the project.
Yes, okay. That is correct, Maria. So I will give a small example also. Entry criteria means, for example, so you want to start testing that product. So first, what should be there? The environment. So environment first, that should be ready, right? That should be available. The build should be available for testing. So these are all the entry criteria. So there should be a stable environment and a stable build that should be deployed so that you can start testing. So that becomes the entry criteria. Okay. Exit criteria means Exit criteria means once you call, when you call it as done. So that done, when you can call the testing as done. For example, the defects. You will be logging different defects, right? So these all issues are fixed or not. So all the coverage, test coverage is met or not, and all the defects associated with that particular feature is fixed or not. So these all comes to be the exit criteria. Okay, so that is the example for entry and exit criteria. So you have to define this entry and exit criteria, and you have to check that whether this entry criteria is met. Okay, so in our static testing case, what will be that entry criteria? It won't be like the system availability. It will be like, yes, the document should be available, or the work product that in which we are going to do the static testing. That work product is available or not. That will be our entry criteria for the static testing. Got it, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Deepa. Entry is prerequisite items. Yes. Now, yes. Now we will move on to next slide.
Can you explain that identifying review that point once again?
Identifying
point.
the review. Identifying review characteristics. So there are different review techniques that we have to adopt for reviewing. So that we will be discussing in the coming forward slides. Okay. So different review techniques are there. So that different types of which technique we have to adopt. These all we have to do in the planning phase. Okay. Got it, right? So
Yes.
that we will be doing in the upcoming slides. That techniques, that all in detail we will be doing in the upcoming slides.
Okay.
Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. No. Next is the initiate review. So to initiate the review, first what you have to do is, first you have to distribute the work product and the other materials. Okay. So physically or electronically, you have to distribute these work products. Like checklist or log forms or related work products, you have to distribute it. Now you have to explain, like what is the objective and the work products. What is the objective of this review, and the what should be what is expected out of these work product, these, and explain the work products to the participants. Okay. Now you have to answer any questions that the participants have about these work products, or participants have about these review. So that you have to answer. That comes to be the initiate review phase. Okay. Now next is individual review. So individual preparation. Then next you have to review these work product, and you have to note down the defects or recommendations or questions, and one or more review techniques can be applied to achieve these results. Okay, we can adopt any of the test review techniques to achieve these results. That review techniques we will be coming, it will be coming in the forward slides. Okay. Got it? So individual review means you will be individual preparation will be done, and you will be reviewing the work product, and you will be noting down the defects or recommendations and the questions that you have, and you will be adopting the one or more review techniques in order to achieve these results. Okay, achieve these results means what? Achieve the your questions or your recommendations or the defects. Okay. So that you will be adopting one or more review techniques. Now, the review techniques, it is of 5 types: ad hoc, checklist based, scenarios and dry runs, role based, and perspective based. So, ad hoc is a kind of informal review, and next is a checklist based. A checklist base is more a systematic coverage. That is the main advantage of this checklist based review. And checklist based review, there will be different checklists. Okay, these checklists will be distributed at review initiation by facilitator. Now, in the coming slides, you will be seeing some terms like facilitator, moderator, author, Like this way, you'll be seeing some terms. In the detail roles and responsibilities of all these different people, we will be seeing in the coming slides. Okay, so don't get confused. So for the time being, you understand that a facilitator will be distributing this checklist for the review initiation, and the checklist will be based on the potential defects derived from experience. That means this checklist will be derived from the potential defects. Okay. So for example, you are working on a shopping site. Okay. The shopping site, you are an experienced person and you have more experience in dealing with the shopping site and shopping domain and all. So you know that yes, at the time of some summary of summary, or at the calculation phase, or adding the product phase, or linking it with the bank site. So there may be challenges, or there can be potential defects in those areas. So as you are experienced, you may know that yes, you are already experienced in such domains, so you may already know that yes, there can be defects in such and such areas. Potential defects can be there in such and such areas. So I have to concentrate more on these areas. So based on your experience, you are deriving these checklists. So you will be writing, yes, in the checklist you will be writing, yes, you have to test more on this test. User should be able to make the payment. So you'll be writing one checklist point. So point by point, you'll be noting down based on your experience. Okay. So the checklists are based on the potential defects derived from experience. Okay. In addition to following the checklist, we also need to look for defects outside the checklist. Okay. So we can't blindly follow all the points in the checklist alone. We have to go for the defects outside the checklist also in order to complete that review. Okay. So the disadvantage is like what? There can be chances of missing defects. Okay, as we have to, it is all experience based, and not it is not on a, we can't rely on a single document, and we have to go outside and test also. We can't there are different chances that we miss some of the defects in the checklist based testing. Is it clear? Checklist based review technique.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
It is clear, right? Okay. Okay. Now, next slide. Next is scenarios and dry runs. That is the next review technique. Okay. Scenarios and dry runs. So reviewers are there. Here we have a more structured guideline on how to read through work product. Okay. Reviewers perform dry runs on the work product based on usage. Okay. The advantage is it is better than the checklist based. So what are these dry runs? It is actually not, it involves executing the test cases without the actual system to ensure that they are logically complete and they can be executed effectively when the system is once available. Okay. And here what happens is you here, for example, I can tell you one thing, like for example, for a web page, when the login details is given, the next page shall load in few milliseconds, and if the login details are not correct, then it should show a pop-up. That is our requirement. Okay. So our requirement is like in a web page, when the login details are given, the next page should load in a few minutes, few milliseconds, and if the login details are not correct, it should show a pop-up. So that is our requirement. So when you do the dry run, the questions what comes to your mind, that is how much time it will require, and which page should be loaded next, and what should be that pop-up content when it is a failure. These all will be coming the questions. Okay, so these all we will be noting down. Okay. So during the preparation, what the reviewer is doing, he will be analyzing the usage. He will be trying to understand the usage of the product. That is this point. That is performing the dry run on the work product based on usage. So the success factor is what he will be understanding more of the product. There will be a better understanding of the product in the scenarios and dry run type of review techniques. Okay. So it is better than the checklist based testing review technique. Okay, got it? Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, next, continuing with the yes, Anita. Okay, thank you for confirming. Then review process, communication and analysis. Now the next review process we are coming into, that is the communication and analysis. So now we have noted down all the defects and all the doubts we have, everything we have individually reviewed it, and we have noted down all these based on these review techniques. Now we have to communicate these defects, right? Now communicating the defect is the next review process. Now analyze the defects and assign the ownership and status to them. So it will be like you'll be raising a defect. Based on your review, you'll be raising the defect and you'll be communicating the defect, and you'll be analyzing the defect and be assigning an ownership and a status to them, and evaluating and documenting quality characteristics. Then evaluating the findings against exit criteria. So these all we will be doing in the communication phase. Okay. So these are all the different. These are all. This is the communication and the analysis phase. That is, you will be communicating the defect, and you will be analyzing and assigning ownership, and evaluating and documenting the quality characteristics, and you will be evaluating the finding against the exit criteria. So exit criteria is what? Exit criteria is like once you have to call the testing as done means these entire defects should be fixed. Then only you will be able to call this testing as done. That is, the work product is perfect. It has no incompleteness or it has no ambiguities, you can say. So once all these defects are fixed, we can say that the exit criteria is met. Okay. So that is the communication and analysis phase in the review process.
Ma'am, how that communication is done? Is it done using Jira, tools like Jira?
Yes, it can be done using tools like Jira. Yes. Any kind of different organizations have different methods. So it will be followed based on that. Now, the review process, fixing and reporting. Now, you have created the defects and have assigned it and all, right? Now, creating defect reports for those findings. Okay, then communicate the defects to the appropriate person. Fixing the defects found in the work product review. Recording updated status of defects. Gathering the metrics. Checking that exit criteria are met. Accepting the work product. So what will be done? The fixing portion will be done. So the once we have reviewed it, once we have reviewed and communicated the defects, and the defects will be fixed, and this updated status will be recorded, and you'll be checking whether the exit criteria are met, and you will be accepting the work product. Once all the exit criteria are met, you will be accepting the work product. That is, the work product is all done. That is, it is all without any defects. The work product is completed. So that is a fixing and reporting review process. Now we will be coming to the roles and responsibilities in a formal review. Now till now it is clear, right? We have discussed about the review process and the review techniques. Okay. Is it clear?
Ma'am, what are role-based and perspective-based review techniques?
Role-based and perspective. Yes, role-based and perspective. 1 minute. Role-based means, I think it will be given in your slide. From my side, it is got missed. Thanks for reminding. That is, role-based means it is a technique in which the reviewers evaluate the work product from the perspective of individual stakeholders. Okay, stakeholder roles. For example, the typical roles include specific end users. Like a product can be used by an experienced person or inexperienced person, a senior person. It can be used by a teenager or can be used by a child. So different people, end users can be different, right? So we will be from their perspective, we will be checking. That will be the role base. And there may be specific roles. Okay, in an organization, some user admins can be logging in and checking. System admins can be logging in and checking. Performance testers roles can be testing it. So these are all role-based testing. Okay, perspective-based means it is similar to role-based reviewers, but reviewers take on different stakeholder viewpoints in individual reviewing. That is, typical stakeholder viewpoints include end users, then marketing or designer or testers or operations. So it will be like different stakeholder viewpoints they will be taking. It is similar to the role base, but it is like a different stakeholder view. Like marketing team may be testing it, or a designer, from a designer perspective, the product will be checked, or in a simple tester perspective will be checked, or in operations perspective. So these end users will differ. So that is what is called the perspective based testing. Actually, that slide was missing in mine, so I forgot that also. Thank you for reminding. So it is clear, right? What is role based and perspective based?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, in your notes, it will be there. Actually, the slide, it was missing from mine, so that's why I told it orally. Clear, right? Athena, Kartika, Emily, Devi, it's clear, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Any doubts you can ask. In Malayalam also, it's no problem. I'll explain it once more. Okay. Okay. Now, roles and responsibilities in a formal review. Now we are coming to the roles and responsibilities. So the roles and responsibilities in a formal review. Now I have told you, right, different author, facilitator, that different terms are there. So they are different roles, and we'll be discussing about their responsibilities. Okay, the first role is author. Author is a person who creates a work product under review. And he is the person who fixes the defects in the work product under review. Okay. So author creates and fixes the defects in the work product. Now, management is another role. Its responsibility is that it is responsible for the review planning. This is very important. This management, it has been asked many times in the ISTQB examination. So it is very important. So management is responsible for review planning, decides on the execution of reviews, and assigns staff, budget, and time, monitors ongoing cost effectiveness, executes control decisions in the event of inadequate outcomes. So management is responsible for the planning, execution of reviews, then assigning the staffs, the budget, cost effectiveness. If there are any inadequate outcomes, then executes the control decisions during that time. So these are all done by the management. Okay. Next is a facilitator. Facilitator is also called as moderator. So he ensures the effective running of the review meeting. He mediates, if necessary, between various points of view. So there may be, I told, right, it is a communication between these all people, like the stakeholders, business owners, developers, testers, everyone. There will be a mixed communication. So he will mediate the different viewpoints. Okay, between the reviewers and the others, he will mediate on that and between the different viewpoints. And if is often the person upon whom the success of the view depends. Okay, because the review success depends on this person because he is the one who mediates these entire review meeting. Okay. Now, review leader takes overall responsibility for this review and he decides who should be involved and organizes when and where it will take place. These all are done by the review leader. So, overall responsibility of the review and decides who will be involved and organizes when and where it takes place, when and where the review meeting should take place. These all are decided by the review leader. Now, reviewers. Who are reviewers? They may be the subject matter experts, persons working on the project, stakeholders with an interest in the work product, or individuals with specific technical or business backgrounds. Identify defects in work product. Reviewers are the people who may be subject matter experts. So they may be a expert in some domain, or they may be people who are working on a particular project, or the stakeholders who have an interest in the work product, or the individuals who have good business knowledge or business background or specific technical backgrounds. So these all people we choose for reviewing. So and what they do, they will be identifying the defects in the work product. So that is the role of responsibility of the reviewers. Now there is another role called scribe or recorder. So this scribe records the new defects, open points, decisions from review meeting. So whatever decisions we are taking in the review meeting or the new defects or the new suggestions or points raised by reviewers, etc. in the review meeting will be recorded by the scribe. Now records defects found during individual review. He records all these defects and all. So recording is done by the scribe. So that is why he is also called a recorder, scribe or recorder. Now, so these are the main roles. That is the author, the management, the review leader, facilitator, and the reviewers and the scribe. So these are all the main roles in a review. Okay, review process. Okay, got it? Yeah, is it clear to everyone? So these are different roles and responsibilities of people. We have discussed it now. In the review process, what are the roles of these people? Okay, that you can go through that one or two times so that it will be more familiar. It's very important also. It will be asked in the same way as in the question paper also. So the facilitator roles of moderator, management, these are all very important. So go through it one or two times, it will be clear to you. So any doubts in this area regarding the roles and responsibilities? Okay, Arya, facilitator role, right? Facilitator role. Facilitator is also called moderator. So he ensures the effective running of the review meeting. So he is the one who mediates this review meeting, and it is upon whom the success of the review depends, because there may be different viewpoints raised by different people in this review, right? So reviewers may be making some suggestions. So the owner of the work product, the authors will be telling something. So there will be conflicts, contradictions, etc. in the review meeting. So he is the one who mediates all these and come up to a common solution, where everyone is agreed. So that is why the success depends on him, the review. Okay, the mediator or the facilitator. Is it clear, Arya?
Yes, ma'am, clear.
Okay, thank you. Any other doubts? I can move on, right? Now, next is the QA session, that is defining the scope. First question, that is defining the scope, which includes the purpose of the review, what documents or parts of documents to review, and the quality characteristics to be evaluated, and estimating time, effort, and time frame is best described in the initial review, planning, individual review, or issue communication and analysis. Yes, Aishwarya, Anu, yes, B is the correct answer. So in the planning phase, we are defining the scope. Okay. Next question. Reviewing all or part of the work product and noting potential defects, recommendations, and questions is best described in initial review, individual review, issue communication analysis, fixing and reporting. Reviewing all or part of the work product. Everyone able to hear me, right? You can say the answers.
Not sure. Is it A?
Not A. That is, here we are reviewing the work product and noting potential defects, recommendations, and questions. So this is done in the individual review, right? In the individual review, we will be reviewing the work product and we will be noting the defects, recommendations, and questions. Not C, Kartika. In communication and analysis, it is not done. Communication means after noting down the defects, we'll be communicating these defects. Okay. And we will be communicating the defects to the author. So that is done in the issue communication and analysis. So here what happens is we are reviewing the work product and noting the potential defects, recommendations, and questions. That point itself was given in the individual review. So if you want, we will go back to individual review and just see that. Note the defects, that is review the work product, note the defect, recommendations, and questions. So that is in the individual review. In communication and analysis, what we do is communicating the defect. We will be analyzing the defects. Okay. It is clear, right? Any confusion? Okay, got it. Yes. Thank you. Now, next question. In dash, checking that exit entry criteria are met, while in dash, checking the exit criteria are met. Planning, initial review, individual review, planning, fixing and reporting, planning, individual review. Yes, Maria, Anu, says C, Anita, yes, C. Yes, I think everyone is on the same track. C is the correct answer. In planning, checking that entry criteria are met, while in fixing and reporting, checking that exit criteria are met. Yes, correct only. Move on to next question. Who is responsible for fixing defects in work product? Moderator, reviewer, author, management. Yes, Aishwarya G. Yeah, yes, C is the correct answer. Anyone has any doubt in this? Fixing the defects. So the person creating the work product will be fixing the defect also. So author is the person who is creating the work product. So he is the one who is fixing the defects also. So author is the right answer. That is option C. Athena, Namita, Vipin, Nitin, Muhammad, it's clear, right?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, which of the following statements about formal reviews is true? Some reviews do not require more than one role. The review process has several activities. Documentation to be reviewed is not distributed before the planning review meeting with expectation of work product for specific review types. Defects found during the review are not reported since they are not found by dynamic testing. You have to select one option. It is about formal review is true. Yes, Aishwarya, Anu say it is B, Maria B, yes, Anita B, yes. Everyone are saying it as B, yes, B is the correct answer. So formal, some reviews do not require more than one role, that is false in formal reviews. Then the review process has several activities, yes, review process has several activities. Document to be reviewed is not distributed. It is distributed before the review meeting, right? So that is false. Then defects found during the review are not reported. It should be reported. Not for, it is not a dynamic. It's before the dynamic testing we are doing. So the correct answer is B. The review process has several activities. Now, what task may management take on during a formal review? Taking overall responsibility for the review, is it by management? We will, if you want, we can go back to the slide and see. It is by the review leader, right? Review leader takes overall responsibility for the review. Management, what does it do? It takes responsible for review planning. It's responsible for review planning, execution and control decision, staff, budget, cost effectiveness. So the answer will be yes, B, Muhammad, correct. Yes, B will be the correct answer. Aishwarya, yes, correct. So B will be the right answer. So Emily, Anu, Anita, everyone, it is clear, right? Why A is not the correct answer? It is done by the review leader. Deciding what is to be reviewed is done by the management. Okay. Clear, right? Okay. Thank you. Then next is the different review types. Informal, walkthrough, technical review and inspection. Till now it is clear, right? Whatever we have studied. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for confirming. Now, now we'll move on to different review types. Now, review type. A single work product can be subject to more than one type of review. So, informal review can be carried out before to ensure the work product is fit for a technical review. So, in a single work product, we can it can be subject to more than one type of review. Okay. So, you can ensure that you can do an informal review before you do a more technical review for a work product. So that is an example. Okay. Now, informal review that I have already mentioned, like buddy checking, pairing, a pair review and all. That means the main purpose is just to detect the potential defects. So the possible additional purpose, that is generating new ideas or solutions, quickly solving minor problems. So you have written a code and then you ask your peer to review it. So it will be done at that moment itself, right? So the minor fixes everything that can be noted down and you can quickly fix it in that review itself. And also new ideas. So if you are consulting it with another person, more hands-on one thing means there will be more solutions and more ideas coming up. So more solutions and ideas will come up and you can fix the problems very quickly also. Not based on any formal documented process. May not involve a review meeting. It is just a peer review or a buddy checking. So it doesn't involve any formal review, a meeting or a formal documentation process and all. Now, may be performed by colleague of the author, that is buddy check, or by more people. Okay. Results may be documented. So if you feel that yes, it has to be documented, then you can document the results and keep. Varies in usefulness depending on the reviewers. So based on the review. So if you are a person, you have coded something or you have documented something, and if you are asking a person who is more experienced, okay, he is a subject matter expert in some specific domain. Okay, you are working in an airline domain, so you are giving for a review to that domain expert. So it depends on the reviewer. So if you want to document and give, that is the usefulness of the review depends on the reviewer. So if you are giving it to a domain expert, then he will be catching more defects or more suggestions he can provide. So it varies on the usefulness depending on the reviewer. How much useful the review is, it depends on the reviewer and his experience and his expertise. Now, use of checklist is optional here. Now, very commonly used in the agile development. Okay. Now, walkthrough. Walkthrough, it may vary from informal to formal. Okay. Here, what happens is in the walkthrough, the review meeting is led by the author. An individual preparation before the meeting is optional, and checklist is optional, and scribe is mandatory. So here what happens is the author, in the walkthrough, the author describes and explains the entire work product in an informal meeting to his peers and discuss the documentation and gets the feedbacks and all. So, and ask questions, provide feedback, focus on the understanding and evaluating rather than the finding faults. Okay. Then after these feedback and all, it will be again, he will do a follow-up and review the changes and improvements. Okay. Once he has got all the feedback and all, he will again do a follow-up. That is, he will fix these things and then again do a follow-up to review these changes and the improvements. So that is what is done in a walkthrough. For example, so if a particular implementation involves a specific algorithm for some data processing. Okay, so during the review, the team member could suggest alternative algorithms. Like some people may suggest different database or data structures or different algorithms. So like that way, some improvement steps can be suggested by the different team members, right? So the team discuss the pros and cons of each alternatives, like the complexity, the speed, the memory usage. So like this way, walkthrough is carried out. So based on these feedback and suggestions, the author will again revisit the work product and do the steps, and again it will be yes, he will again review that improvements in another informal meeting. Okay. So individual preparation before the meeting is optional, then checklist is optional, and scribe is mandatory in the walkthrough. You got it, right? What is walkthrough? Here, the review meeting is led by the author. So, author explains everything to the reviewers, and then they will put the suggestions and he will make the improvements, and again he will get the feedback from them. Like that way it goes. Got it? What is walkthrough? It's clear, right? Okay, thanks for confirming. Now, next is A defect log, again walkthrough continuation. Defect logs and review reports may be produced. Then the purpose is what? To detect the defects, to consider alternative implementation. That is what we have discussed in our example. That is, if we are proposing some algorithms for the data processing, then different people can put forward different ideas and alternative implementations can be discussed and improve the software product, evaluate conformance to standard. Conformance to standard means what? So the work complies with established standards or guidelines or best practices. That includes adherence to coding standard, design principles, or regulatory requirements. That is meant by the conformance to standard. Okay. Now, additional purpose, train participants, exchange ideas, and achieve consensus. So this is the purpose of the walkthrough. Now, next is the technical review. Technical reviewers should be, you can, from that name itself, you can understand the reviewers should be some technical experts or technical peers. Review meeting is optional and is led by trained facilitator. Here, author is not the one. Review meeting is done by the facilitator. Individual preparation before the meeting is mandatory. Checklist is optional and scribe is mandatory, ideally not the author. The scribe is mandatory here, but author cannot be the scribe here. Okay. So the technical review means it should be, the reviewers should be technical peers or technical expert. Review facilitator and individual preparation is mandatory here. Checklist is optional and the scribe should be mandatory, but it should not be the author. Now, defect logs and review reports may be produced. The purpose of the technical review is also what you have detecting the defects, then gain consensus, alternative implementation, evaluate the quality of work product, motivate author to improve the work product. Okay, so that is the purpose of the technical review. It's clear, right? That is, I'm just reading through it and you are able to understand it, right? Anything you are not able to follow, just let me know. Okay. Others, newcomers and all, Arya, Vidya, Aishwarya, everyone able to follow, right? Just read through it once or twice, and only this will be there in your mind. Even if I explain it now, go through it some for 1 or 2 times, or you can prepare like tabular column and you can tick mark and wrong mark like this way, wherever the author is mandatory, who is holding the team review meeting, then what is the purpose of it, then is facilitator required, is scribe required, is checklist mandatory, is review meeting mandatory. These all you can just put some columns and do like that, so that in one go everything will be clear. Okay. Okay. Now next one is inspection. So inspection, reviewers are peers of author or experts relevant to work product, follows a defined process based on rules and checklist. Review meeting is led by trained facilitator. Individual preparation before the meeting is mandatory. Scribe is mandatory. Defect logs and review reports may be produced. Okay, so here the reviewers are the peers of the author, or they may be experts related to the work product, and it follows a defined process, such as rules or based on the rules and checklists. That is, there is a defined process for this inspection, and it is led by a trained facilitator. And the individual preparation is very mandatory here, and the scribe is mandatory. And defect logs and review reports may be produced. Then what is it? A dedicated reader may be present. Reads aloud the work product during meeting. Author cannot be a review leader, scribe, or reader. Then specified entry and exit criteria are used. Metrics are collected to improve the software. So what are these metrics? The metrics can be like the defect metrics, that is a number of defects per unit of code, or the code quality metrics, the code coverage, that is a percentage of code executed by the test, or it can be the performance metrics like response time, throughput, resource utilization, etc. By collecting the metrics, we can get the we will be able to know how well the software is. So different types of metrics can be collected, like the defects metrics and all. Okay, to improve the software. So the purpose is same as the technical review plus preventing defects through author learning and root cause analysis. Got it? So this is the inspection technique. Now the question answer session. What is the main difference between a walkthrough and an inspection? An inspection is led by author, whilst a walkthrough is led by a trained moderator. Authors are not present during inspection, whilst they are during walkthroughs. A walkthrough is led by the author, whilst inspection is led by a trained moderator. An inspection has a trained leader, whilst a walkthrough has no leader. So what is the main difference between walkthrough and inspection? Yes, and B is the correct answer. Yes. So in the inspection, we have seen that authors are not present. But walkthrough, authors are present. Yes, the main that is the main difference between walkthrough and inspection. B is the correct answer. So if you could not answer it now directly, don't feel bad, because it is like once more when you go through this, you will understand it. Okay. And try answering these yourself. So now here B is the correct answer. Any doubts? Let me know. Any doubts? Any doubts? Okay, Deepa, thanks for confirming. Yes, Namita, okay. Okay, thank you. Now, next one. The review being used in your organization.
Ma'am,
Yes,
can we go to question 12?
question 12, okay. Yes,
Isn't option C also correct?
option C, okay. A walkthrough is led by author and inspection is led by a trained moderator. It is written. It is, 1 minute. Inspection is led by trained facilitator. Not
Aren't
moderator.
facilitator and moderator, aren't they the same?
Yes, facilitator and moderator are the same. Yes, yes. Now, facilitator and moderator are same, but 1 minute. The other option also we will see.
Because in inspection, it is not given that the author is not present. It's given that the author is not leading or playing any role.
1 minute. Yes, this one, right? Sorry, not 12th question. Okay. A walkthrough is led by author. So you were telling like, okay, trained. Yes, author is led by, walkthrough is led by author. Inspection is led by a trained moderator. In walkthrough, we have like, 1 minute. walkthrough is the review meeting is led by author and in inspection, the review meeting is led by the trained facilitator. And okay, trained facilitator. So difference between the walkthrough and inspection, right? So okay, this one is okay. Yes, the walkthrough is led by author and inspection is led by trained moderator. But yes, here we are. Here they are asking about the main difference between a walkthrough and an inspection. Okay. So here in the inspection, authors are not present during inspection, but they are during the walkthrough. Yes, in the walkthrough, they have mentioned about the author, and author is present in the walkthrough. But in the inspection, author is not present. They are not mentioned about the author, right? So that is the difference. Now, walkthrough is led by author. So walkthrough is led by author, that is correct, and inspection is led by a trained facilitator.
Now it's confusing. Is it B or C? Because nowhere it is mentioned that authors are not present during inspection. It's mentioned that authors are not going to take any role of review or any other role.
Yes. So that means that author is not present in the during the inspection. But the author presence is mentioned in the walkthrough, right? Here
Okay, so we should go with B.
Yes, we have to go with B.
Okay.
So it is not like, but in this option C, it is walkthrough is led by author and inspection it is led by the trained moderator. So the option B is the correct one. Author is not present during the inspection, but they are during the walkthroughs.
Okay, fine.
Okay, that is the correct option. B. Okay. Now next question, the reviews being used in your organization have the following attributes. There is the role of a scribe. The main purpose is to evaluate quality. The meeting is led by author of the work product. There is individual preparation. A review report is produced. Which of the following review types is most likely being used? Informal review, walkthrough, technical review, inspection. So there is a role of scribe and main purpose is to evaluate quality and meeting is led by author. Okay, there is individual preparation and review report is produced. So in these all are satisfied in walkthrough, right? So you can see like review meeting is led by author and individual preparation before meeting is optional. Scribe is mandatory and the purpose is to detect defects and improve the software quality, improve software products. So these all are satisfied in the walkthrough. So review report is produced. So it is most likely being used will be walkthrough. Is it clear? If anyone has any other thoughts? So the role of a scribe is there. The main purpose is to evaluate quality, and the meeting is led by author. That is the main thing. That is, it is in the walkthrough, right? Then there is individual preparation and the review report is produced. So the review times that most likely being used can be the walkthrough. Got it? Any doubts? Okay, thanks, Aishwarya. Everyone, it is clear, right? Bipin, Nitin, Mohammed, Namita, everyone it is clear, right? Okay, okay. So I'll move on to the next question. Now, success factors for reviews. So next we are going to discuss about the success factors for reviews. So each review has clear objective defined during review planning and used as measurable exit criteria. Okay. So we have defined clear objectives during the review planning, and it is used as a measurable exit criteria. So the objectives, all the objectives are met means it will be satisfying the exit criteria. So that is a success factor of the review. Now, review times are applied which are suitable to achieve the objectives and are appropriate to the type and level of the software work product. So we have told, right, in difference of in a single work product itself, you can do different types of review. You can adopt different types of review techniques to review it, and then you can we can adopt different types of review techniques for reviewing the single work product itself. Now so review times are applied which are suitable to achieve the objectives and are appropriate to the type and level of the software product. Based on the type of the software product, we have to adopt these review tags. Now, conducting reviews on small chunks so that reviewers do not lose a concentration during an individual review or a review meeting. So, for example, the specification documents, the requirement documents, these all may be lots of pages. Okay, so you have to cut short into small chunks. Okay, don't try to review the entire thing in a one go. So that is not possible also, and it will lead to loss of concentration and missing out the defects. So you have to conduct the reviews on small chunks so that the reviewers do not lose concentration during the individual review. Now, providing feedback from reviewers to stakeholders and others so that they can improve the product and their activities. That is the early feedback that we have already discussed. So we have to provide the you'll be providing the different feedbacks to the stakeholders so that they can improve on the product. So that is a success factor of the reviews. Now, providing adequate time to participants to prepare for the review. So there is also, we have to give proper time. That is this one day you are giving, today you are giving the requirement documents. Now, 2-3 days after you say that you need the review comments means it may not be possible. So based on the size and based on the length and complexity of these work products, you have to give them the adequate time for the to prepare for the review. Support from management for the review process. Management should be very supportive. That is, we have clearly defined the roles of the management, right? So they are very much important in the review planning, the management of the staff, resources, and timely decisions, cost effectiveness, etc. So there should be a proper support from the management. Making reviews part of the organization cultures to promote learning and process improvement. So every organization should take care that review should be a process. Okay, review should be part of an organization's culture so that it will improve the process and the learning also. provide educate training to all participants so they know how to fulfill their roles. So you have to, if it is an author or facilitator or anyone, you have to provide all the participants, any reviewers, you have to provide them with proper training so that they can fulfill their roles. Then providing adequate training for all participants so that they can they know how to fulfill their roles. Then facilitating the meetings. So these are the success factors for reviews. Now question, which of these statements is not a factor that contribute to successful reviews? Option A, participants should dedicate adequate time for the review. Splitting large work products into small parts to make the required effort less intense. Participants should avoid behaviors that might indicate boredom, exasperation, or hostility to other participants. Failures found should be acknowledged, appreciated, and handled objectively. Select one option. So, which of the statements is not a factor? Yes, 14, that is C is the answer. Participants should avoid behavior that might indicate boredom, exasperation, or hostility to other participants. Yes, that's the correct answer. C. Okay. Now next question. Who is responsible for recording new defects, open points, decisions from review meetings? Recording. Yes, D is the correct answer. Everyone, yes. Yes, correct answer. D is the correct answer. Scribe. Individual preparation before the meeting is mandatory in which review type? Yes, both B and C. In inspection and technical review, individual preparation is mandatory. In walkthrough, it is not mandatory. Buddy checking, pairing, pair review are part of the following reviews: ad hoc, informal, inspection, formal. Yes, informal review. Yes, correct. Now, you are using Grammarly tool to check the requirement specification document. Which type of testing are you performing? Yes, static testing. So the questions are clear, right? So till now, the summary that we have discussed is, we have discussed what is a review and static analysis, then work products which are examined by the static testing, then the value of static testing, then the difference between static and dynamic testing, then the defects that can be easily found out can be easily fixed in a static testing, then what are the benefits of early and frequent stakeholder feedback, then different review processes, what are the different steps in review process, different roles and responsibilities, then review types, then finally the success factors of the review. So any questions? Is it clear for everyone? Okay, thank you, Deepa, for confirming. Thank you. Okay, now I'll share a feedback form. You can just fill the feedback form and I've put the feedback form on the chat. You can just fill them. So it is clear, right? Anyone have any questions? You can ask or else you can leave. Thank you, Deepa. You can just go through the topics and if you have questions, you can ask. Okay, Devi, thank you.
Ma'am, my notes share ചെയ്യും.
Notes share ചെയ്യും.
എവിടാ
Notes
ഷെയർ ചെയ്യുന്നത്?
Obscura team തന്നെ share ചെയ്യും.
ആണോ? ഡെയിലി നോട്ട്സ് ഷെയർ ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ടോ?
ഡെയിലി നോട്ട്സ് ഷെയർ. നേരത്തെ മോഡ്യൂളിന്റെ കിട്ടിയിട്ടില്ല?
ഇല്ല, കിട്ടിയിട്ടില്ല.
അപ്പൊ അവര് ഞാനല്ല ഷെയർ ചെയ്യുന്ന, ടീമിലുള്ളവരെ ഷെയർ ചെയ്യുന്ന. അപ്പൊ അവര് ഷെയർ ചെയ്യും.
ഓക്കെ.
എല്ലാ മോഡ്യൂളിന്റെയും നോട്ട്സ് ഷെയർ ചെയ്യും. ഈ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് എല്ലാം ഷെയർ ചെയ്യും.
ഓക്കെ.
If you have completed the feedback form and have no doubts, then you can leave. Thank you all.